Welcome back, everyone. The COVID-19 pandemic has thrown a lot of things off for the last 3 months. But according to data by CYFD, domestic violence programs were able to provide necessary shelter during the pandemic at rates similar to the previous year. I spoke with Pam Wiseman, the executive director of the New Mexico Coalition Against Domestic Violence, to find out how they were able to maintain services while preventing virus outbreaks. Joining us this morning, Pam Wiseman with the New Mexico Coalition Against Domestic Violence. Good morning, Pam.
Good morning, Crystal. Thank you.
You bet. Thank you so much for joining us. A very important topic that we're covering this morning. We're talking about domestic violence and COVID-19. For your organization, tell me how COVID-19 has impacted you, both beneficial and maybe in a little bit of negative way.
Yes. Well, it's had really unexpected impacts. One of the impacts is that our programs during this pandemic actually saw the same number of people as they saw the year before, and in some cases they saw more people, new people. And I think that's because in the past many clients and victims might have thought, oh, that's a shelter, that's not for me, I don't need to go there. And they began to see, because we had more online capability, that they could get help, they could get advice, they could get counseling for their children, they could try to get orders of protection, that there were all these things that our programs did that people just didn't know about. And so I think going to an online format just made it really accessible to so many more people.
That's so interesting how things have changed and how you've seen more clients being able to access help from you. Do you feel there was an uptick in domestic violence because of COVID-19? So many families now staying home?
I think there's no question that domestic violence was more common and worse. People couldn't get away. The stress, the unemployment, all of it, I think, added to an increase in violence. And that's been true across the country. And although it varies, in some areas there's been more violence. I think Bernalillo County certainly experienced an increase. In other places in the state, it may have been the same or it may have been less. There's just a lot we don't know because we aren't. We don't know who's calling the police and for what. So there are a number of unknowns, but in lots of places it seems like it has gotten worse. And we've heard reports also that people who commit violence are actually calling for help, and they're talking about the level of violence, and in some cases it's really severe.
Wow, very eye-opening. Can you tell me how the center has adjusted with COVID-19 and seeing an increase in potential domestic violence cases?
Yeah, they've adjusted really well. We have over 30 programs across the state. They were able to reduce their shelter capacity, so they really prevented outbreaks. Other states saw outbreaks in these congregate care facilities like shelters, but our programs didn't see that. To date, there's only one positive case that we know of. So our programs took all the precautions and did what they had to do, and yet even with all of that, they decreased their shelter or their overnight, I guess you would call it, clients by only 13%. They used hotels, they used rentals. I mean, they immediately pivoted to a new way of doing business, and so it was really they really weren't affected as negatively as we worried they might be.
Oh wow, that's great that you guys were able to kind of shift your resources in a different direction.
Yeah.
As you mentioned earlier, you guys have gone to more of an online format that's
Right.
allowed more victims to come forward. For
Right.
viewers who are watching right now, if there's someone out there who seeks help, who needs help, what type of services do you guys offer?
It varies a little by program, but in general, most programs will have shelter, and even if it's not in their usual place, they may be able to arrange for shelter someplace else, but it is available. No program is closed. They can help if someone needs to go through the courts to get an order of protection. They can help people think through how to be safe, what kinds of services their children might need, counseling for themselves. And they also, many of them also provide services to domestic violence offenders. So they do groups and also individual work with people who are committing violence, because obviously we have to look at both sides of the issue if we really want to do anything about it.
Mm-hmm. If there's an emergency that somebody is in, who do they call? Is it 911? Is there another number they could reach out to?
Yeah, they could certainly call 911, but there's also a hotline, the National Domestic Violence Hotline, and that number can be found on our website. Our website also has all the list of all the shelters and programs all around the state. And so if someone could go onto that website and find some way to write down the phone number and the contact for that, please do not hesitate to call.
If you want a full recap of that interview or more details, if you need help when it comes to domestic violence, go to our website. That's always on KRQE.com. That number is 1-800, let's go back to that, 799-7233 if you want more details. We'll be right back.